Here we go. So yeah, let's talk about this thing. This thing that to me is probably, looking back, is the big change in my production. You know, the idea for the video came from actually trying to make a beat, going back into the past, remembering what I was doing wrong a lot of the time. So I was making this beat. I have the samples right here. So I have the samples, right? And I'm recording the samples in. So this is something that I don't typically do. I was trying to start the beat with the samples. So I record the samples in, and I'm trying to bring in some drums, right? And I'm like, but the problem is that, you know, the kick isn't really cutting through. And at the time when I was making the beat, I thought that I always had issues with like finding the good kick or finding a kick that would cut through the mix. And I never really stopped to think that it might be something else, you know. And I think changing my method of making beats made me realize that the problem wasn't the kick at all. The problem was just volume. So what was the thing? The thing that made me get better and realize certain things is to start the beats with the drums. Starting the beats with the drums just cleaned up a lot of stuff on my beat making. One of the things, just get better mixes. Another thing was to easily put samples over drums and easily find ideas with the samples. Something is just not cutting, the kicks are not cutting through the mix. At the time, I don't realize this, of course. When I change, when I start making beats with the drums first, it was automatic like that. You know, I've done the drums, right? I've done the drums, and now I'm putting the samples in. And when I put the samples in, I automatically switch to, oh, these samples are overpowering my drums. Let me push the volume down. This is something that I automatically do once I start to make beats with the drums first. It just helped me to have a better mix. A lot of the times when I was making beats before, when I was starting with the samples, I was always struggling with the drums, right? And I don't know why, it just didn't cross my mind that I thought the problem was with the kicks. And I think that's what a lot of people go through nowadays. They say, I just don't have the right kicks, I just don't have the right snares. And I keep saying, you know, make sure that your volumes are right. Sometimes it's not about, you know, the perfect kick. It might be, and I keep saying this continuously on my videos, volumes. Volumes really change the dynamics of your beat. And sometimes people just say, oh, my drums aren't knocking, my drums aren't standing out, or this or that. And I'm like, volume. Because it was that really, to me, that is the thing why my drums knock. It's just because I push my samples down. So in this case, if I push down my samples, there you go. Now, all of a sudden, the drums are there, the samples are there, and it's easy. And it's something that I automatically started doing once I started to make beats with the drums first. And the other thing about loving this way of making beats is that it's just so easy to fit samples into drums, man. It's way easier, because sometimes the thing about you having samples, it's like just tapping on a sample. It's kind of hard for you to picture it. And if you have a drum going, it automatically, you hear it over drums, and you understand its dynamics over drums, and you hear things that, you know, you cannot just imagine. Sometimes you can imagine it, but it's kind of hard. It's easier if you actually have a drum loop going and you tap in those samples over the drums. Let's say I'm gonna just delete these samples, right? Let me just erase everything, do it. Before I dropped the drums on this, I was trying to find, Because I'm just hearing the chops and like there's no connection in there. I mean, you can, you know, but because now I have the drums, I can. I can hear it way better. I can hear how this dynamic between samples and drums happens. I can just load up any sample now, quickly have a go at it on top of these drums, right? I can change the BPM actually. Let me go a bit. So I can go to browse for other samples, right? Let me get here into my, let me see what I have here. Right, let's try another one. Let's go into browse, try another program. You know, once the drums are done, it's just so easy to try ideas and see what you can do. Let me put the program into mono. And check, the volumes are low as well because they kept the same volume. Oh, actually, no. The samples. This thing about BPMs and all of that, a lot of people worrying about BPMs. Once I started to put the drums first, because a lot of the times what happens is that, you know, you follow the BPM of the sample. If the sample is slow, you kind of slow your drums down or you pitch it up, or you pitch the samples up. But because I'm starting with the drums then, and then I'm not worrying too much about the BPM anymore, I'm not following the samples, I'm just hitting the pads, and because I'm hitting the pads and the BPM of the samples is at a different BPM, I'm hearing dynamics that I typically not used to hearing, right? Okay, these drums are at 90 or whatever, let's say 90, and these samples are at 87, 70. But when I hit the pad, the dynamics of, the pattern of the dynamics of the sample, even though they're at different BPMs, they kind of play together with the hi-hats. So these other things start to come up as well. I'm realizing I don't need to change BPM. I don't need to chase the BPM of the sample because that's way slower, but I don't need to change BPM. Just listen to how you drop it over the drums. So there's a lot of stuff that come from using drums first. It sped up my workflow as well, right? Because I'm not worried about, you know, let's try another sample and now let's put drums over these other samples. No, I just have a drum loop and let me search for samples that work here. And I quickly jump to them because they're already chopped here. Okay, let's try the last one. Whatever, let's find another sample. Let's go for this one. See what we have. Let me go to the program, set it to mono. This is way too loud for me, so I'm just go to the mixer, push it down. These are the sort of samples that would just layer over other samples. Once I started to make beats with the drums first, my first type of samples that I like to use are samples with low frequencies. These sort of samples I stopped using them to start for the beginning of the beat. They're for the end of the beat, when I want to layer like higher frequencies, use these. So I kind of have a method nowadays. I just like to start beats with the drums, then samples with low frequencies. Let's see what we have here now. Like this sort of sample, right? You got that low frequency. See how it doesn't hit on the BPM? But to me, that's fine. Woo! Yeah, I like that. Actually, I want to make that go a bit lower. These things I kind of start noticing after I started to make beats with drums and adapting samples to drums. And because I mix, and to me mixing is around the drums. Drums are first, then all the little sounds go around the drums. That's why I believe that my music has that hip hop knock, right? That punchiness, because the drums are first, right? And everything kind of revolves around the drums. So that was it, man. I hope you enjoyed the video and you took, I think some of you might already know about this, that I start beats with the drums. I wanted to talk a little bit about it because I was making a beat right now and I was starting with the samples. I'm like, hell no. I'm just going to waste a lot of time here. Actually, I did do a video a few months ago about starting with the samples first, making a beat with the samples first. And it kind of, I enjoyed that exercise, not something that I would do regularly. And I was trying to do that same exercise today, starting the beat with the samples, but it's just obvious. It's way easier for me to get what I want with the drums first. Anyway, man, thank you so much for watching, and drop a comment, drums first or samples first, and tell me why, tell me the reason why. And yeah, if you haven't tried this way of making beats, go ahead and try it as well. See if it changes the way your beats sound. It did change me. I'm not going back to samples first. Again, thank you so much for watching, man.